All right, couple of things I want to hit here on Chicago Bears now. Did the Bears accidentally reveal who their top draft target is on their latest episode of 1920 Football Drive? Also, we heard from some Bears players at House Hall today. Even more today. We're going to save a lot of that for later, so subscribe, stay tuned for this afternoon show. And that's just one of many reasons to subscribe. Listen, my whole life I watched ESPN, I read ESPN, and now they charge you a bunch of money, $120 per year for their ESPN Plus content, which I do pay for. But if you want free Bears content, someone who's tapped in like I am on a daily basis, charge this much, $0. One of many reasons to subscribe. I would appreciate the support. You guys are the bomb. Let's keep it rolling here on Bears Now. Okay, 1920 Football Drive. If you're unfamiliar, that's kind of the Bears social media thing. They put a new episode out every couple of months. It's kind of their Hard Knocks, but obviously they control it, and you get some inside access, some inside look to what is going on. And obviously this time of year, it's coming off the combine, free agency, all that stuff. And last night there was a moment that caught Bears Twitter's attention, certainly caught mine as well. Did the Bears accidentally reveal who their top draft target is? So there was a little moment, and we'll get to the quote from Dennis Allen and Ryan Poles in a second, where they're kind of going back and forth, and Ryan Poles says, yeah, he's 1 or 2 on our list, and you see on that still frame right there, courtesy of Bears YouTube channel, that is Mason Graham doing an interview with NFL Network's Stacey Dales. Here was the back and forth, the snippet between Dennis Allen and Ryan Poles. Dennis Allen says, where do we have him? Now, him could be anyone. Let's make that clear. And Ryan Poles kind of said, high this year, probably 1 or 2. I don't know if that means like among all players or among players they think they can realistically get. Again, a lot of kind of guesswork, right, from us on the outside looking in. And I do really want to emphasize, because everybody just assumes they're talking about Mason Graham. We have no idea who they're talking about. They could be talking about anybody. Now, with Dennis Allen talking to Ryan Poles, I do think you're probably talking about a defensive player, and it's probably a defensive lineman, because Mason Graham was doing an interview at the time, and that would have been the day defensive linemen are working out. So if it's not Mason Graham, is it another defensive lineman? Well, Abdul Carter didn't work out at the combine. So I do think there's a decent chance this is who they were talking about, but it could be anyone. There's no way to know one way or the other, but I do think it's pretty interesting that this went out there, and that we all kind of picked up on that, like, oh, Mason Graham, you see him on the TV in the reflection right there. He's considered one of the top picks in this draft, a player we've certainly talked about here on Bears Now. So it wouldn't shock me if that's who they were talking about, but I do want to make it clear, this is not like, you wouldn't win in court saying like this is like 100% without a doubt who they are talking about, but I do think there's a decent possibility. Do you believe, Bears fans, that they were talking about Mason Graham? And if you haven't watched it, go check it out and make your own judgment. Type Y for yes, type in for no. And by the way, if you do go watch it, you might hear a familiar voice at some point in the episode. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Mason Graham, just because why not? He's a player we really like. He's a player that if he were to fall to 10, would certainly be a home run pick. Could he be someone the Bears consider trading up for, especially if he is someone who's very high on their draft board this year? Obviously, you look at the draft order, you kind of start working through the picks. Cam Ward's going to Tennessee. Travis Hunter, as of late, sounds like he'd go to Cleveland. Abdul Carter, most likely going to go to the Giants in that scenario. And then you kind of enter Mason Graham territory. Would the Patriots take him, or would they go O-line? The Jags certainly have been a team. We'll talk a little bit more about him. He's been commonly mocked too. But even after that, like the Raiders could certainly add him. The Jets could add him. Like a lot of teams would be very interested in Mason Graham. More on this conversation in a second, but first, got to get a word in from our sponsor. Want to welcome a brand new sponsor to Chicago Bears Now. That is Brunt, the best working boots I have ever owned. Courtesy of Brunt, go to bruntworkwear.com/chat. As a homeowner and father of a 2-year-old, I'm constantly having to do different projects inside and outside of my house, like building my son's crib, like cleaning out the gutters, so on and so forth. And especially when I'm outside doing work, having a reliable pair of boots is critical. The Marin boots are the most comfortable boots I've ever worn. You can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable as your sneakers. Join over 500,000 other customers and join the Brunt family today. Brunt lets you try the boots on the job risk-free, and all of their products have free shipping. Their best-selling Marin work boots are not only built for the toughest job sites, they're completely waterproof. Whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet stay dry. From oily workshop floors to muddy farm fields and everywhere in between, the Marin 6-inch soft toe is built for workers across a variety of trades. They also have other products like high-performance gear built for tough jobs, heavy-duty work pants. Brunt designs reliable and durable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, get $10 off with Brunt by using code CHAT at checkout. That's code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com/chat. Again, they let you try all of their products on the job risk-free. And tell them we sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sports. Code CHAT to get $10 off with Brunt. A lot of mock drafts that you see, I would say Mason Graham to the Jags at 5 is like a very popular and borderline consensus pick. Like that's what you see very, very often because typically Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are gone by then because they're probably the two best prospects. Cam Ward goes, so that's kind of your combined top 3. Patriots could pass on them because their defensive tackle position is pretty stout. But if he gets to Jacksonville at 5, it does seem like he would be the favorite to go there, and for good reason. He can dent the pocket as a pass rusher. He's stout against the run. A very good player. He's a high character, leader type of guy. Won a national championship at Michigan. Obviously, if you added him to this defensive line group, you'd have a pretty good blend among the defensive tackles in this room of good veterans, Grady Jarrett and Andrew Billings, and then young players in Jervon Dexter and Mason Graham. I mean, that's a pretty good group of 4 if you somehow ended up with that. Now, is he going to get to 10? That would be a stunner, right? It wouldn't be completely out of the realm of possibility. I think there's a slight chance he could get there. Maybe some teams don't like the fact that he has shorter arms, so maybe he slips just a touch. But I'm more so looking at this, okay, if he gets past Jacksonville at 5, would the Bears be interested in moving up? Like, would they try to move up to 6 or 7 if he's still on the board? We've kind of had the same conversation about Ashton Genty. Like, you know, if he got past the Raiders at 6, or if you wanted to leapfrog the Raiders, would you go get Ashton Genty? It would depend on, obviously, trade compensation, so on and so forth. But I really like Mason Graham. He's one of my favorite players in this draft, especially for the Bears right now. They need another disruptive player on that defensive line. I don't think he'll fall to 10, but if he gets to 6 or 7, maybe he enters the Bears kind of stratosphere of someone who they'd be willing to trade up for. Again, no clue if that's who they were talking about, but there are some context clues that suggest it could have been. Okay, some players via Bears.com spoke about being back in the building and hearing from Ben Johnson for the first time. And again, we mentioned this off the top. As we're filming this, some guys are talking with the media today at Hal Saw. We'll touch on that later. But do want to hit a couple of the quotes that emerged as Ben Johnson and the players were in the meeting or in the building together in a formal setting for the first time. Veteran safety Kevin Byard saying this, quote, "Our first meeting was great today. Coach Johnson brought a lot of energy. He's brought an excitement to the city and to the team. I feel like we took a little break. The camaraderie is still there, and everybody is excited to get everything back rolling." Torrey Taylor, the punter, said we're going to learn a lot more about him, but I think you've only got to turn on the tape from Detroit and see his aggressive mindset, and you can tell he's an aggressive person. It's going to be something new and different, and that's always exciting. It's going to be hard, but we want it to be hard, so I'm really excited. And I think that last line, and Ben Johnson said that himself to the media multiple times, like, this is going to be hard. We're going to push. It's, any big goal you're trying to reach shouldn't be easy, and I think that's going to be a big change. Not that the prior staff never pushed the players. It's the NFL. Obviously, they push them. But remember when they had to have a meeting with Shane Waldron, some of the players of like, hey, coach us harder? Like that was a major red flag, and we should have really recognized that more at the time. I don't think that's going to be an issue here. I think this team is going to be challenged extensively by this coaching staff, especially early on, to see what they can handle and to see how much they can throw at them and what they can soak up and absorb and really expand upon what they can do as players schematically and just mentally and all that stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is going to be an exciting few months leading up to training camp, and then obviously getting into the season when it really matters. But the expectations are, I think, pretty high in terms of like, hey, if the team buys in, the talent is there, the coaching staff is a good group on paper. They're going to push this team hard. I think there's a chance for this to be really, really good as soon as this year. So obviously a long way to go. They're just getting going, but we'll see how it all plays out, and we'll cover it along the way. How excited are you about the Ben Johnson era scale from 1 to 10? Let us know in the comments below, 10 being extremely excited. And stay tuned, Bears fans. Caleb Williams, Jalen Johnson, Tremaine Edmonds, Darnell Wright. I listened to Jalen and Tremaine before coming on to film this. I know Caleb just started to talk. He's probably done now by the time you're watching this, obviously. Darnell Wright as well, meeting with the media today. We'll share some of what they said with you, and I'll give my reaction to that. So subscribe and turn on notifications, because we'll be back with another video later today here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.